Chapter 19, 1 verse 11. 1 Samuel chapter 19, verse 11. If you've been tracking with us, if you've been here, we've gone through a lot of stuff from Samuel. Samuel seems so long ago now. But Saul is trying to assassinate David. You see that in chapter 19 and verse 1. He's already messed him around. He was meant to be married to his older daughter, Merab, but that didn't happen. We've seen what Saul's doing, and yet God is over all of this. And I want you to see a lot of things tonight. But let's start in verse 11. Saul sent troops to watch David's house. In that moment, it gets real, right? David has escaped Saul twice with a spear. And it says Saul sent troops to watch David's house. From the enemy's point of view, you can see what he's trying to do. He's trying to get David to fear and to be afraid and not live up to his anointing. Yet Saul sends these troops, these men, to watch David's house. All the while, they think it's about 10 years that David's on the run for. So that's a long time. It's not 10 minutes, it's not 10 weeks. 10 years is a long time to be on the run. Saul has sent troops to watch David's house. So again, David, Michal, everyone we're going to talk about tonight, you have to, you, me, it's like there's two people trying to force their game plan on their lives. God has a game plan for David. And that is why Saul is allowed to send troops to his house. Because God is over it and God's going to protect it. But for 10 years or whatever it is, God is training David. We often think that we don't need as much training as God does. Like God says it's 10 years, we'd like to say, can we do it in 2? But God is training David in all of these different things. And I want you to see something, because it would be fascinating to know what he was thinking. And it turns out we can see it. Look at Psalm 59 a minute. Psalm 59 shows us what David was thinking when we get to this moment in his life. It's really cool. I was talking last week about how amazing David is, and he didn't get rattled. And even though he'd been kind of messed around by Saul, and you'll get married, and no, you're not going to get married, and now I need 100 Philistine foreskins, and all that he was doing, all this just mess, all this game, all this charade. You wonder how David's feeling. You get to Psalm 59, and I'll go through this more at a different point. I don't want to get stuck just in Psalm 59 tonight. But it says, if you notice, for the choir director, a psalm of David regarding the time Saul sent soldiers to watch David's house in order to kill him. So this is the moment. We know in Scripture that this is a moment in 1 Samuel 19 when Saul sends troops to watch David's house with the intention of, I'm going to assassinate you, I'm going to kill you. You better know who God is if that's the case. If the king is watching your house, and by the way, he can do what he wants. No one's going to call him. I mean, if he kills David, he's gone. God is watching over David's house, and it's kind of a crazy thing that happens. But listen to what David says. Again, David is in his house. I almost think we're going to read that he escapes, and I almost think that some of this is from the perspective of being in the house, and then he escapes, but I think he hangs around a minute, and I'll explain that in a minute. Verse 1, rescue me from my enemies, O God. He's trapped in a house. The king is sending men. David full knows what's going on. Rescue me from my enemies, O God. Protect me from those who have come to destroy me. Do you see the devil's game plan, right? You see the devil is trying to frustrate, to bring fear. But look at what David says. I need rescue. I need rescues from my enemies. I need protection. Do you see that in that house, and now beyond for 10 years, that everything that David needs to know about God, God's going to show him? Like as king of Israel, as a true king, you're going to have to believe that God rescues you, right? You're going to have to believe that it's okay to have enemies, that God can protect you, that there are always going to be people coming to destroy you, but God is the God of rescue, and God is the God of protection. Do you want to know, by the way, see, this is where it gets kind of funny. Do you want to know that God is your great rescuer? I mean, do you want to physically experience that? Do you want to be able to say, man, I know that God rescues me from my enemies? I know that. Well, in order to know that, you know what you have to have, right? You see, we want the goodness and the glory of, man, I serve a God who rescues me from enemies, but in order to know that, he's going to have to put you in the place where you have enemies. And again, from a Monday morning quarterback kind of view, I can see what God's doing in David's life. Like, if David would go back in time and I could commentate on it, he's like, what's going on? No. God's got this. This is good for you, Dave. I'd call him Dave just for short. But this is really good for you. God is giving you lessons that you're surely going to have to know deeply as a king. And so, again, maybe it's just me, but I find it so easy to look at people's lives in the Bible and tell them it's fine, and then I look at my own life, and when enemies come, it's not so fine. But look at what he says. I need rescue from my enemies, O God. Protect me from those who have come to destroy me. Rescue me from these criminals. Save me from these murderers. He's in a tight spot. And all he can say to God is, rescue me, protect me, rescue me, save me. They have set an ambush for me. Fierce enemies are out there waiting. Lord, though I have not sinned or offended them. David realizes, David sits in this house. He knows the enemy has set an ambush for him. He knows they're fierce. They're troops. They're from the king. Saul is already, through Jonathan, been shown to want to assassinate him. And one of the hardest things is, I'm on the run, I'm getting threatened with death, and I haven't even sinned or offended him. Like, it's one thing if I had messed up and the king wanted to kill me because I was just a nuisance. David hasn't done anything wrong. Though I have not sinned or offended them. I've done nothing wrong, yet they're prepared to attack me. Wake up, see what is happening, and help me. He's asking God to come into action. He's asking God to see and to help him. O Lord God of heaven's armies, the God of Israel, verse 5, wake up and punish those hostile nations. Show no mercy to wicked traders. It's almost like he now stops just thinking about himself. He thinks about the world. He thinks about this full-on view of things. And he says, and whilst you're at it, God, these hostile nations, sort them out too. Verse 6, they come out at night snarling like vicious dogs as they prowl the streets. Listen to the filth that comes from their mouths. Their words cut like swords. After all, who can hear us? They sneer. What I believe happens is David escapes from the house, but I think for a minute he stays around. He escapes out the house and he's going to escape, but in this psalm you start to learn that he's hearing what they're saying. So he's either hearing it from the house or he's hearing it after he got outside the house. These people are outside waiting for him to come out. He's going to bolt out a window and escape. But he knows exactly what they're saying. And what they're saying is rough. It's filthy. And he says, they say, who can hear us? They think they're being slick. They think they're hiding. And God, through Jonathan and all these other things, has shown David, I've got you. This isn't going to get you. I'm going to protect you. I want you to see what's happening. And look at what David says, and this is really, really important. And this is why David is a giant. This is why David is a spiritual giant. Put yourself in that position. We've acquiesced a lot less, right? We've got miserable over a lot less. I mean, as much as I've gone through, no one to my knowledge has been outside my house with permission to kill me. You mean, imagine the president calling a hit on you and saying, wait outside his house. The moment you see him, take him out. You better know who God is at that moment. You better trust God. And he can hear them. He hears them speaking. And then in verse 8 he says, but Lord, you laugh at them. You scoff at all the hostile nations. And this is what I love. See, he thinks, oh, God, it's bigger than just me. It's bigger than just this. You scoff. You laugh at them. What an amazing statement. They're out to kill me. They're out to get me. But God, you laugh at them. That's an amazing perspective, right? He's got the enemy at his door. They want to kill him. And David says, you laugh at them. You laugh at these nations. You laugh at these people. You scoff at all the hostile nations. All the hostile nations are the same way. Just as Saul thinks he's going to come and beat David, these hostile nations stand against God. And when a hostile nation stands against God, God just laughs at them. And then in verse 9, listen to what he says. And this is easy to say on a Sunday morning. This is easy to say on a Wednesday night. This is easy to say in our spiritual talks. But when you're about to be assassinated, or the threat is there, you are my what? David nails it before he's rescued. You alone are my strength. I wait. Listen to what he says. He doesn't wait for anybody else. I wait for you to rescue me. For you, O God, are my what? My fortress. God, you're my strength. I'm going to wait for you. You are my fortress. This is nice writing. This is something exciting. But when you put him in the predicament he's in, this is amazing. This is exactly what God wants us to do. When we're in the house and when it looks like it's over and when the enemy's coming, we talk about it, we sing about it. But at that moment, in that moment when now you're in warfare, now the devil's come full-fledged at you. You know it, you feel it, you hear it, you see it. What God wants you to remember is he's your strength and you have to wait for him to rescue you. And if you'll believe that, and let's face it, sometimes you will die. God doesn't always rescue his people. There's been many people martyred, many people lost their life. But David, like Peter, has an inkling that he's going to survive because God has anointed him to be king. Remember what he tells Peter, when you're in old age, then you'll die. So when he's young, he's all right. So all the attacks prior, Peter would know really if he understood, I'm not going to die here, I can't die here. God has promised when I'm old, I'm going to die. You are my strength, verse 10. In his unfailing love, my God will stand with me. That is where we're trying. You imagine that. How many of us would concentrate on the enemy rather than God in that moment? God has anointed you, and ever since he's anointed you, things have got rough. Ever since he's tried to work in you, and all you've done is help the whole country by beating a giant, and you would think that was it. Life's good. I've mastered it. And he says, in his unfailing love, my God will stand with me. He will let me look down in triumph on all my enemies. I don't want to get too bogged down here, but read from verse 16. I'll come back and explain this psalm more. As for me, I will sing about what? And again, this is before anything's happened. As for me, I will sing about your power. Each morning, I will sing with joy about your unfailing love. For you have been my refuge, a place of safety when I'm in distress. O my strength, to you I sing praises. For you, O God, are my refuge, the God who shows me unfailing love. So before David fully escapes, before the battle even comes, David has won. Do you understand that him living or dying isn't winning or losing? That he's won. If you can sit in the house as all of this is happening and say all of these things, God is his strength and he's winning, he's got it, he understands. If you want to know what King David was like, read this psalm, know the situation, and you'll see where we're trying to get to. I mean, I will sing about your power. Each morning I will sing with joy. Each morning, even when the guy's trying to kill me, each morning. Even when he's throwing spears at me, each morning. Each morning, sing for joy about your unfailing love. And the only way to get there, the only way to really understand and to sing with joy is to be put in a position that he is in verse 1. I need rescue from my enemies. I need rescue from the criminals. I need saving from murderers. He says they've set an ambush for me, but God, you're there. This verse 16 and 17 especially shows you who David is and where he's at. And it's amazing. So let's go back to the story. 1 Samuel 19. I'm really glad that Psalm's in there. It really helps you understand. Okay, so we've just read what David's perspective is. And so it says Saul sent troops to watch David's house. They were told to kill David when he came out the next morning. As soon as they see him, they're to kill him. And yet David is what? I'm going to sing joy. I'm going to have peace. God is faithful. Remember, he's got married to Michal because Saul pulled a fast one on him. But God used, see, Saul intended to use his daughters as a snare. Saul is intending to use everything as a snare, every battle, just to kill David. Everything Saul is interested in leads to David dying. If you want to get Saul interested in something at this point, it's this will lead to this, and that will get David killed. That's what Saul's bothered about. He's totally engrossed in killing David, because this is spiritual warfare much further than David versus Saul. This is the devil versus God. Look at what it says. Michal, David's wife, warned him. How mad is Saul that his own daughter now is warning David? This wasn't meant to be like this. But see, what the devil means for harm, God turns out for what? In some amazing ways, the devil can send people to trap you. The devil can send people with an agenda, and yet God turns it around and uses them for his good and for your good and his glory. This wife now warns him, and she's an interesting character, we'll see, but she warns him. Remember, she's fallen in love with who? She's fallen in love with David. In fact, so much that she preferred to stand with David than Saul. Saul's plans are going awry. That's why he says in that psalm, you laugh at nations, you laugh at the enemy. If you don't escape tonight, you'll be dead by morning. All right, whilst I get what she's saying, that's not particularly true. Because God's going to protect David. God's got his hand on David. But she says, if you don't escape tonight, you will be dead by morning. So she helped him climb out through a window, and he fled and escaped. You see, how can you sing a song of joy and be content in God when you literally imagine tonight put yourself there at 3 o'clock in the morning in your slippers and your dressing gown, and you're having to get out a window because someone's trying to kill you. At that moment, it might be hard to say hallelujah, right? I mean, if God said, I want to offer that experience to one of you, who would clamor for it? He's literally crawling out a window, presumably on the other side of where they're at. And that's what I'm saying. I think he gets out, but I think he hears. I think he stays. I don't think he's just hearing things from the house. I think he's out of the house, and he's thinking and hearing what he pens in Psalm 59. And this gets weird. If you don't escape tonight, you'll be dead by morning. So she helped him climb out through a window, and he fled and escaped. God will use anything. God can use anybody to protect you, right? One thing that's going to happen is David's going to be protected. Now, how God protects you could be who. Listen, don't ever try and figure out how God's going to protect you or provide for you. Just know that he is. You can't sit down and work how God's going to protect you. You can't sit down and work out how God's going to provide for you. You just believe he can. You just believe he will. Don't start like, well, God, you're going to have to show me how to provide. No, he won't show you that. That's faith. He can protect you. This is a weird story. How many times has God provided for you in a way that if whatever your need is tonight, write down how you think God's going to provide for you and see if it ever matches up. Or he'll do this. Mm-hmm. He might. You might match up 1 in 100. But he works in ways that we have no idea about, right? He protects us in ways. I wonder how many enemies we've been protected from that we don't even know. How many times we were going to get robbed and we didn't see it because God stepped in. How many times our house, someone was planning to come in and they didn't because God stepped in. So she helped him climb out through a window. She's saving her husband from her father. This is like weird. And he fled and escaped. And then it gets really strange. I don't believe David had anything to do with it. I don't know what happens here. Why has she got an idol? And a big one at that. Idols come in all kinds of shapes and sizes, but this idol was designed to be big enough to mimic David. She uses an idol to act like someone's in bed. So the first question is, why have you got an idol? That's weird, isn't it? If you came to church and said, I was saved by my idol. What? Like, why have you got an idol? So she's holding on to, there's some kind of weird, we don't have, and we talked about on Sunday night, there's no record of David ever getting messed up in idolatry. But she's got an idol. Sometimes God allows us to do things. He uses that to protect us. Sometimes he'll do it himself. There's all kinds of things God does. And we think sometimes we have to protect, but God's really protect. And sometimes God allows us to do some things, and we think, oh, I help protect it. Okay, settle down. But look what happens. She took an idol and put it in his bed, covered it with blankets, and put a cushion of goat's hair at its head. So what she knows is there's going to be, wait, when are they going to kill him? When what? When he comes out. But there's going to come a time that if you don't come out, what? We're going in. Right? So she knows when the morning comes, when the time comes, they're coming into her house. Think about how crazy that is. Her dad is going to assassinate her husband and violate all their personal rights, go into her house and all of that. So she gets this idol out. Maybe that's the first time this idol has been of any use whatsoever. And she covers it with blankets and put a cushion of goat hair at its head. God has a sense of humor, and I'm telling you, you can't figure God out. This is bonkers. When the troops came to arrest, listen to this. When the troops came to arrest David, she told him he was sick and couldn't get out of bed. What? Think about that. You've been sent to assassinate this person, and they say, oh, sorry, he can't come with you. He's sick in bed. How many people are like, 1,000 pardons? I'll go away. It's bonkers. I mean, think about this. You've been sent to assassinate someone. You go in their house, and they're like, oh, you can't kill him today. He's sick in bed. Well, first of all, if he's sick in bed, I've got him. Like, if that's true, thank goodness I'll kill him on the spot. Like, if me and you have to fight, I'd prefer you to be sick and in bed. You ready, Nick? Just tell me the next time. I mean, that's maybe the chance I have, right? He can't move. Well, now's the time. You can't. I mean, this is. Imagine going back to the king and saying, oh, he was sick. Do you see how God's over all of this? He's messing even with the enemy's head. They obviously don't look at it. They don't see him. When the troops come to arrest David, she told him he was sick and couldn't get out of bed. So what does Saul do? I mean, this has to be embarrassing. I mean, imagine if you're Saul, what would you do? Saul doesn't say, oh, poor thing, do you send him some medicine? What does he do? He sends him back. He sends him back to get David. Like, are you crazy? Go get him. And look at what he says. Bring him to me in his bed. If that's the case, if that's where, just bring him in his bed, and I'll take him out. I mean, I'm not making this up. It's right here. So I can kill him. No bit of grace, no like, oh, let's wait till his fever drops. Just kill him. I mean, but she's making up stories, right? She's putting an idol in. I was thinking about this today, and I don't want to get into the whole, maybe that's for another day debate, but we seek to deceive a lot, right? We're not exactly wholly honest. That's not wholly honest, is it? You ever, there was a guy in Texas, he had a beware of the dog sign. Now, there was a dog. But what is beware of the dog meant to do to you? Yeah, and he had the tiniest little, it was like, he even laughed about it. I mean, it's like, okay, if that's the dog, I'm not scared. But we put those signs up to what? Yeah. So it's weird how much we think we need to like protect ourselves and make people like, I have to put this sign up, otherwise I'm in trouble. Like God's not going to save me unless they know I've got a big dog. You know you can die with a big dog, right, and be saved with a small one? I mean, that's a whole other discussion, but we stretch the truth a lot. Like, she's about to lie too. She's about to lie. So the troops come to arrest. He was sick, couldn't get out of bed, which is a lie. It's not true at all. But Saul sent the troops back to get David. Bring him to me in his bed so I can kill him. But when they came to carry David out, so they were exactly going to do it. They come and get David out, and what do they find? They discovered that it was only an idol in the bed with a cushion of goat's hair at its head. You ever seen Shawshank Redemption? It's kind of like that. They're just, what are they doing? They're buying what? It's genius, really. I mean, I don't think she should lie. But you can see the delay is good for who? Think about it. When did they come in? They came in the next morning. David's escaped. So however long, he's just elongated his act. When you're on the run, you want a head start, right? And so now he's got all of this time. God does all of these things. He uses all of these things. I don't think God instructed her to lie. But God uses things, uses situations. He's got this head start. And Saul isn't worried. Saul thinks he's God. And even the delay of time going the first time, coming back, going again, it's all just delay. It's all frustration. It's all God saying, you can't beat this. And then who does Saul run to? Who does Saul get angry at? His daughter. Why have you betrayed me like this and let my enemies escape? Well, probably calling her husband who she loves your enemy probably doesn't help. But what's the real answer to that? What is the real answer? Now, she's misguided. She's not very great at telling the whole truth and nothing but the truth. But she loves David and she wants to protect David, and she already has shown who she's going to stand with. Sure, you already know if this is me, David versus Saul, she's going to pick David. And so Saul comes and says, why have you betrayed me like this? Why is he so mad about that? Well, because it's his daughter, but he knows again that God is what? God is frustrating his plans all over the place. And that his own daughter understood who was on God's side. Now, why she does what she does. And then in a weird, when we get put in a moment where our colors really have to be called out, when God puts you in this position where you have to identify whose side you're on, sometimes we won't. There are moments in your life where people might ask, or the situation demands, you show which side you're on. I mean, there are situations where someone says, do you believe this? I know if I say I believe this, that's going to cause me what? And so what do we do? Well, you see, we kind of fudge it, right? But there are definite moments, like Columbine was one, a gun to your head, do you know Jesus? Do you believe him? Whatever they asked. That's a really difficult moment, right? And so here's this moment. Are you going to trust God? Are you going to stand against your dad full on? And look what she does. She does what she's been doing. She lies. And it's almost like she doesn't really, it's obvious she's standing with David, but she can't say that to her dad. And now, because you see, when we get scared and when we get fearful and when spiritually the heat goes up and the warfare comes out, that's when we're at our worst. She's helped David get out the house. She loves David, but at the first sign of heat, she throws him under the bus. It's Adam and Eve again. It's your fault. It ain't my fault. It's your fault. Look at what it says. I had to, Michal replied. He threatened to kill me if I didn't help him. You see why she's saying that, though? Do you see how in some bizarre, sick, twisted way that starts to heal her relationship with Saul? Because now they're both, if that's true, now they both have a common problem. Who's the common problem? David. And that's what the devil wants. When you've got a problem, he loves other people to have that common problem. Because if you have the common problem, you're going to work together to what? To get after it. And so she just lies her face off and says, he threatened to kill me if I didn't help him. Maybe you need marriage counseling. This is rough. Verse 18. I love this. Not only is it important what you do in the middle of a battle. He's been rescued. He writes later, obviously, Psalm 59. We know how he's feeling, how he reacted. He's just got out of an ambush. He's on the run. Where do you go? Where do you go? Yeah. What? You see, it's not just like, how do you get out the house? But where are you going to go? Where are you going to go when you get out the house? How many people can David trust? How many people can he explain the situation to them and they fully understand and fully help? And yet, look at what, listen to me, where does David go? He runs to the Lord in the fashion of Samuel. In other words, Samuel was the what? Samuel was God's person. Samuel was God's voice. I know that Samuel, his own wife has just turned on him. His own wife is spreading lies about him that he was going to injure me and kill me for her own benefit, for her own good. He runs to Samuel because Samuel is what? Samuel has integrity. Samuel is honest. Samuel literally speaks the things of God. And when there was but do you see how God not only provided a way out of the house, but he provides everything? When somebody was needed, David had Samuel. And he escapes, and the first thing he goes to, like if you're on the run, who you go to says a lot about them and you, right? I mean, if you escape prison, where would you run to and who would you run to? He's escaping the king. He hasn't done anything wrong. And he finds safety and security in Samuel. Here's what I'll tell you. We should be both of those things. If you're really going to make it in the spiritual walk, if you're really going to have these moments where you shout for joy and talk about God's faithfulness, and you can sit in the house and literally watch the people waiting to kill you, and still write a psalm, and still love God, and still sing, and still worship, then what you're going to find is you need a Samuel. You need someone who you can run to, not because of how good they are, but because of how close they are to Jesus. Samuel's one going thing for him. He's getting old. He's got all of this stuff. He's had a few issues with his sons and all of that. But when I go to Samuel, I know he's going to what? He's going to fear the Lord. He's going to help me, and he's going to speak the word of the Lord to me. You need someone in your life when everything's crazy, when you don't know who to trust. You need someone you can go to, like David went to Samuel, and you know, not only do they have your back, but they're going to speak the word of God to you. Do you have that? Everybody needs that. Everybody, yes, you have God. If nothing, you have God and the Holy Spirit, and that's enough in a way. But man, it would sure help you in your walk if you can say, you know what? When no one else I can trust, I can go on to them because I know one thing about them. They love the Lord, and they're godly, and I can trust them. It's sad to say, you know how many people you can really trust in that level? But you don't need you need a Samuel. You need someone you can run to. But you also need to be a Samuel to a David. You also need to be the one who is so in touch with God that people run to you and say, I just needed to come and speak to you. You see, it's easier to run to Samuel than to be Samuel. And here comes David, this giant killer. And he needs Samuel. Samuel probably needed David. But we need to be a David sometimes and seek out a Samuel. But sometimes we're Samuel and a David's coming, and we must minister to them the word of God and help them and guide them. And so he goes out, and look what it says. David escaped. He went to Ramah to see Samuel, and he told him all that Saul had done to him. And what does Samuel say? That can't be true. He knows. I believe God is speaking to Samuel, and so he takes David with him to live. Now, think about this for a second. If the guy that the king is trying to kill, you want to come live with you. Who's that putting in grave danger? You see, we're good at ministry until it costs something. Like we'll stand with people if there's a benefit to us, but when it doesn't benefit us, then what? Why and how you stand with people means a lot. I don't know if it's true because not everything on the internet is true. I don't know if you know that. But I read this article about how the CEO of Target now quit because he made a decision to really go woke, to really get into LGBT stuff. They went crazy with it, right? And things have changed. And now it's not as popular to do it. And people are rejecting Target by what? By not spending their money. So think about what that's saying. We will stand with you whilst we think it's savvy. We will stand with you whilst we think we can make money off you, whilst it gives us a good reputation. We will stand with you whilst it makes us look good to the world. We'll stand, we're for everybody. But the moment it costs us something, the moment it hurts our bottom line, we're not woke anymore. Like I'll stand with you and take all the applaud and do everything I can for you. But you understand, like if I start paying a cost for this, see, they thought it was going to gain. But when they start paying the cost, what do? Guess what they're not doing anymore? Do you see? Standing for people because it benefits you isn't standing for people at all. Standing for people, really doing ministry, is paying for a friendship. It's paying the price for a friendship because it's the right thing to do, not bailing when it costs you something. You see, imagine if I said, I'll stand with you and for you until it costs me something. This is going to cost Samuel something. Potentially, who knows what. And yet he doesn't balk because he's not putting his trust in David. He's putting his trust in who? You should be willing to stand for people. And they should be willing to stand for you. And when you stand, listen, 1 is not great, 2 is better, and 3 is even better. So when people start standing together, who do you think's coming after you? The enemy's obviously going to come after you. What we need is friendships, ministry partners that will stand with you. As long as you're standing with God, I'll stand with you. But that's not savvy for you. It's okay. But that might put your job in jeopardy. It's okay. I'm not standing for you. I'm standing with you for God. And how many people are we willing to stand with at the cost of our own reputation? At the cost of putting our own lives, our own business, our own whatever in jeopardy? Man, this is a real challenge, right? How much would you give for a person that says, this is costing me everything, but I'm going to stand with you? Normally, friends bail when it gets what? I don't know if you've ever been rich and poor, but I guess that changes your friend list, doesn't it? Or poor from rich, that changes your friend list too. I mean, think about it. When you've got all the money, you have a ton of what? And I wonder how many people have spent all this money, lost it all, and then gone back and said, hey, can you help me out? And the other person says, there you go. There's a cost to this. There's a cost to David and Jonathan. In fact, Jonathan will die. There's a cost. We have to be willing to pay the cost for somebody who's willing to stand with and for God. And look, Samuel's not trying to hide it. Look what happens in verse 19. When the report reached Saul that David was at Naioth in Ramah, he sent troops to capture him. This is just getting boring now. And this is only a little bit into it. Saul's the king. Saul has his henchmen. He keeps tracking David down. And everywhere he tracks David down, he loses. David is caught. When the report reached Saul, and again, why are people telling Saul? Why are why are people telling Saul where David is? What has David done to them? Nothing. So understand why people do what they do. Why is anybody, whoever it is, it doesn't tell you who it is. It just says when the report reached Saul that David, so somebody's spying, somebody gave him up. And by the way, you have to trust God enough that people can say what they want, that people can give you up, but God's not going to give you up. Like David has to be secure. Saul might know, I might be given up, but God's still over all of this. Somebody gave him up. Why? Why? Because we fall for these false lies more than standing for the truth. What do they think they can get? If you can give David to Saul, it's not that you hate David. It's not even that you care about Saul. Why is anybody wanting to bring David to Saul? Because they think for themselves it will get them what? Reward. If I do that to Saul, forget that he's crazy, forget that he lies, forget that he doesn't make good deals, forget all of that. I can see the benefit for myself, so I'm going to go and do it. Even though the carrot at the end, is rotten. And yet, if you stand for the truth, it'll never be rotten. Like the things we chase after wrongly, the carrot's never that good. And if we stand with God and for God, the carrot's much better than we ever imagined. And so somebody's given David to Saul. And this is what I'm saying. What does he do? What does he have to do? It's the same in the Old Testament, isn't it? You have to rely on the hand, the Spirit of God. Look at what it says. Imagine you've just come out the house. You've met Samuel. It's kind of the spiritual roller coaster, right? You got married. You're in this house. You have to escape. You've got all these enemies. You've got all these traps. You're singing. You're joyful. God is faithful. We saw it in Psalm 59. He sees Samuel. Samuel must have been like honey to him. Sweet. It must have been a breath of fresh air. Samuel, thank goodness I'm with you. Samuel, it's good to see you, man. And all of a sudden, here comes the enemy again. It's like up, down. There's never a rest. Never a rest. Physically, which is why Psalm 59 is so amazing. But look what happens. But when they arrived and saw Samuel leading a group of prophets who were prophesying, the Spirit of God came upon Saul's men, and they also began to what? You've got to believe that God just takes care. I told you can't figure out how God... You know what David didn't do? Don't worry, brother. They're just going to prophesy. It's fine. No one guessed that. No one knew that was going to happen. The conjecture of what prophesy means here. Some means it's sing. They were singing and they were worshiping and they were honoring God. Some think they were speaking great things about God. Whatever they were doing, notice what happens. Saul sends his men. His men go to get David. Last time we fell for he was sick and then he was these things aren't going very well for the enemy, are they? And then look what happens. So they arrived, and by the way, they happened to arrive just when it was savvy for God to have them arrive. You catch that, right? When they got there, it was perfect timing for God. That's not coincidence. God even directs the enemy to be on time. Look at what it says. When they arrived and saw Samuel leading a group of prophets who were prophesying. God has spoken to prophets. They're prophesying. The Spirit of God came upon Saul's men, and they began to prophesy. When Saul heard what had happened, he sent other troops. How crazy do you have to be? Just give up, dude. You can't win this. You can't win. You can't stand against God and win. Imagine going back. What happened? I just prophesied. What do you mean? Well, I don't know. Well, why did you do that? I don't know. I couldn't help myself. Imagine explaining that to Saul. What do you mean you were prophesying? I don't know. So he sends out group number 2, and they also what? So, clearly, it's just a third time that'll work, right? Third time's a charm. The same thing happened a third time. So here's big bad Saul, and I'll finish because we've got a meeting, but a business. But finally, what happens? Saul sends, you can almost imagine it. What is wrong with you guys? What do you mean you were prophesying? Can't you just do one simple task? We know where he is. Just grab him. Just grab him. I've sent 3 groups. Just grab him. So what does the king do? Don't worry, boys. I'm the king. I'll take care of it what? I'll take care of it myself. He's going to wish he never did that. Look at what it says. He went to Ramah. Saul himself went to Ramah and arrived at the great wall in Secu. Where are Samuel and David, he demanded. You can, if this was a movie, the music's starting to change, right? We got this, woo, the enemy's coming. Oh, he's at the gate. He's at the gate. He's at the gate. But listen, God has already sent David like 3 times. Don't worry about this. I got this. Like, you think David was like, why are they prophesying? God's already told David 3 times, this is a joke. I got this. I'm laughing at these people. Don't worry. Don't worry. I mean, listen, I'm going to be honest with you. If people come after me and God just starts doing this stuff, at some point you're like, please, send someone else. And again, someone gave him up. It's a good job you don't rely wholly on people, isn't it? Oh, they're in Ramah, at Naioth. And so where does Saul go? He's coming to attack the man of God. And and listen to the sad way this says it. The Spirit of God even came upon Saul. In other words, Saul was so messed up and so crazy, but the Spirit of God still moved on him. Still made him do what he wanted him to do. You think about this moment. This is spiritual warfare. And the Spirit of God came upon Saul. And he too began to prophesy all the way to Naioth. You see all the lessons David's getting, right? He tore off his clothes and he lay naked on the ground all day and all night. Now, there's conjecture whether that means full-on naked or down to his kind of like underwear. He took off his robes. You can figure that out. But either way, look, there's a humility to that, right? The big bad king has come to get you, and now you're naked on the floor. You know what David's done to do that? Nothing. David is sitting at home watching ESPN with breaking news. The king's on the floor naked. What? And all the way, the enemy is speaking the things of God. He tore off his clothes, he lay naked on the ground. But see, there's a picture here. There's a picture of God winning, but there's also a picture of God just dismantling Saul and taking everything away from him. I mean, how much worse can it be than trying to defeat the enemy? He's duped you all. I mean, God keeps winning, and now you're on the floor, and now and by the way, next time you say, guys, why didn't you do that? They're going to be like, at least we kept our clothes on. I mean, everyone's done better than the king. The king's on the floor. He tore off his clothes. He lay naked on the ground all day and all night, prophesying. And listen to who he's prophesying in front of. Who's he prophesying in front of? How scared is Samuel of Saul at this moment? Big bad king has come to get us. Where is he? Right there? What's he doing? He's singing. He's talking about God. That's weird. I mean, Samuel is not scared at all. And who's with Samuel? The message is getting it. The people who were watching. So it's not just Samuel. Look at what he says. He tore off his clothes. He lay naked on the ground and all night, prophesying in the presence of Samuel. And what God is doing is telling how God is using Saul to tell other people how great he is. Not Saul, God. God has taken the person that's trying to kill his king, and now he's singing and worshiping and talking about God. It's kind of wild. The people who were watching exclaimed, "What is even Saul the prophet?" They couldn't believe it. The guy's nuts. He's crazy. He's out in left field, and now even Saul is a prophet. And Samuel and all the people were to look and think. You know how he says in that Psalm 59, you just laugh at them? There comes a point, if you'll stand against the enemy, you'll just watch and be like, God, you've got this, don't you? And the moment you see that God's got you and you don't have to be afraid, that's an amazing moment. Does anyone have any questions, thoughts?